We didn't go in and change this specific merchant's menus and like, oh, hey, we're going to make a change on your site to help you get through this lawsuit. This surfaced some details, and this change went out to every single user of the app, so now it's better for everyone.
Welcome to Helium's Hot Air Show. My name is Benjamin Thornberg, and beside me is the man perpetually without notes, Brett Shelley.
Helium's Hot Air Show.
I'm excited. We've got a quick episode today, a couple things to catch everyone up on. And at the end, as always, we're going to have a Shopify tip. And since the one and only Brett Shelley is here, we're going to ask another soul-searching question. So we're going to start with Isaac Bosch, CEO of Ecom 360. He had a great post this week about B2B on Shopify. And this is important because I feel like a lot of merchants are going to get into B2B on Shopify. There's a lot of interest. It's really a buzzword amongst developers and merchants alike because, as we know...
You're specifically talking about the native Shopify B2B. Obviously, B2B itself, like you're saying, is kind of a buzzword and something, business to business. It's kind of just its own thing. It exists out there. It's the way people do business. But Shopify B2B is like a very specific feature set on Shopify built in, and they recently expanded access from just Shopify Plus shops to now, to a certain extent, there's some limitations, but it's now available for everyone.
Correct, yes. Specifically, the extended access part is causing a little bit of chumming the waters, so to speak. I'm going to read a few quotes from that post. So Isaac says, the first conversation with a B2B merchant who wants to move to Shopify doesn't start with features, it starts with the why. He's talking, obviously, about merchants getting into Shopify. So if you're on Shopify, I think this is apropos to ask yourself, as you're looking at the B2B space, why? Why do you want to make the change now? What's broken in your current process, or what business objective is behind this initiative? I thought that was a really good point to pause and say, not to get caught up in it, because I feel like right now, the way that e-commerce is moving, there's a few things to get caught up in. AI, let's just AI everything. Don't even know what it means, but we're going to do it. And the other one currently in Shopify is B2B. Let's just jump on B2B. But he's encouraging you to pause and ask why. He brings up some interesting points. One of them, and I encountered this when I worked in wholesale selling business to business as a operation director for a cookie company back in the day. It was really interesting. You could call different merchants and you could say, hey, I need this. And some of them would say, I will get that to you tomorrow, no question asked. And other ones would say, hey, I'm going to send you to billing to take care of the payment right now before anything could be done. So all the relationships in B2B are really different and really interesting. And Isaac says as much in his post. He says, the most common mistake is assuming that a merchant knows how their own operation works. Usually they don't, not fully, or they know, but their team doesn't, or the sales team knows, but logistics doesn't. In B2B, processes are typically the result of years of patches, exceptions, negotiated with key accounts, and decisions made before any digital system existed. The takeaway for that is, if you're a merchant, you're looking at B2B, just know that there is a little bit of a bowl of spaghetti there that needs to be sorted out. There are really clever tools. We've created one to help specifically in accounts and account approval, but there's a lot going on there. So I think if you're looking at the B2B, knowing why and what you want to get out of it first is key. And I really wanted to highlight that to everyone because the waters are very furious right now. And it's always good to pause, take a deep breath, and ask why.
Yeah, I think that's such an interesting statement to hear, not something you would really... it kind of sounds like, at least on a surface level, like a hot take. Basically what you said is a business owner doesn't understand how his business works. And just at a service level, that's such a weird thing to hear. But when you really think about it, what we're not talking about here is your one person, two person, mom and pop shops. Obviously, if you're the sole employee of a business organization, you're going to probably have a pretty good idea what's going on throughout, right? We're talking about stores that, you are a business owner, CEO, whatever, and you've got a finance team, you've got an operations team, you've got a logistics team, you've got sales staff, you've got all these different things going on, all these different departments that may or may not even be talking to each other at some level. where your sales staff is connecting with these different vendors or retailers, whatever is going on there. And then, like you were saying, they got to get over to a different department to approve financing and billing and stuff. You got to get over to a different department to get that product actually sent out, and all these different moving pieces. I think that's what we're talking about when we say you may not understand the complexity of what's really happening. And at the B2B level, that's such a big thing, because we're talking about, larger orders, wholesale orders, payment terms, net 30s and all this kind of stuff going on, as opposed to, hey, a customer placed an order and I shipped out a pair of shoes, right? It's a little bit simpler workflow generally.
Yeah, the point A to point B can sometimes take turns to multiple departments is what we're saying. There's a lot there. Shopify does give you a tool that in the history of commerce has not had in Sidekick. So you can go in there and say, this is what I want to do. What are the steps that I have to take to do that? That leads me to our Shopify tip, and I'm kind of skipping ahead, but it's a perfect place to interject this. I was on Shopify Flow the other day, and lo and behold, Sidekick is front and center in the bar. What do you want to do? Sidekick asked. Before, in Shopify Flow, you would have templates. You still do, but you kind of have to stumble in the dark and search through templates and try to figure out what you were doing. Now you can just directly ask Sidekick in Shopify Flow, Shopify's free app, to automate different tasks. It has a bunch of different triggers that do things for you. We've talked about it on the show before. Sidekick is now in there. So now you can directly ask, how can I send these emails automatically? How can I update products? How can I get orders going? All of these different triggers are built in, and you should be using that.
Yeah, I was actually just this morning on the browsing the old LinkedIn's, and Paul, who is the, I believe, product manager of Flow specifically at Shopify.
Hi, Paul.
He's on the LinkedIn's, and I saw a stat from him just this morning. He said, I believe it was 40% of all flows that are being used or created are now being created directly through Sidekick.
Wow.
And like you said, it's just the power and the ease of that is just crazy. Like, you're not having to figure out 10 individual steps and branching workflows and stuff. You just describe what you want to do. You describe the goal, how you want to, what you want to do, and Sidekick helps you get there, right? That, I feel like that's such a big step. So often, somebody knows what you want to accomplish, and it's the how you get there that's the difficult part. Now you just tell it what you want to accomplish. You don't have to worry about the how in the middle.
Yeah, that's huge. So for someone like me who's been using Shopify Flow for years and had to go in and physically figure out, what am I actually doing? Is this post checkout? Is this checkout? Is this pre? And I would ask Brett, how do I do this? What am I trying to do here? And so now everyone has their own Brett Shelley in Sidekick, probably that much smarter than Brett? Maybe. Not as sarcastic. Sidekick needs to work on its sarcasm. It could do better. So you have these tools that are going to infer what you are trying to get at, or pull from a larger data set from other people asking the similar questions and say, this helped them. Why don't you check this out? So it's able to suggest things much more cleanly and much more, I would say, appropriately for you on that. Huge tip. Get Shopify Flow. Flow it. When in doubt, flow it out. The next one, and this is why I'm excited that you're here. We had one of our, I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm going to say it because you're going to correct me anyway. So even if I try to get it 100% right, we had one of our merchants threaten to get sued for lack of accessibility on their mega menu.
At least from my understanding, that's essentially correct. Yeah. And just to break down that to start, like, this is something that I've been hearing a lot about in e-commerce, and like even outside of e-commerce, just like websites in general. There's a little bit of a gray area right now, at least here in the U.S. In the U.S., it's a little bit of a gray area as far as accessibility requirements for websites. There's a lot of accessibility laws about, things that are open to the public have to be accessible to people with various disabilities.
It's more cut and dry.
Yeah, just the web itself is kind of a gray area as far as how that's actually executed, what that means from a strict legal standpoint. So there's not a really hard, clear set of legal requirements, but what we're seeing right now is a lot of website owners, business owners are getting sued or threatened to be sued for lack of accessibility. And I will say this is partially just my opinion, but I think a lot of these are just kind of scams.
Yeah,
Basically,
I
people trying to threaten lawsuits
Yes.
and hoping that people aren't going to fight them and they're just going to give up some money or something.
Totally. I was doing some research in prep to this. You're absolutely right. The scams have gone up. The federal court filings alleging that plaintiffs with disabilities could not use their websites is up 25% year over year from 2025. So it already, and we're only in May here. So it is something that's on the rise, and I think it's exactly what you said. The reason for that is it is a gray area, and until we get some big giant ruling about it, people are going to keep doing it. And there are a lot of people trying to make a fast buck, and I've seen merchants on the forums that are scared or nervous about their site getting hit with a potential lawsuit. So it is kind of a bummer thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, I will say though, on the flip side, it is great to have websites that are more accessible. And, obviously this sucks for business owners who are going through these scams or being threatened with lawsuits or whatever. But if the end result of this is having websites that are more accessible, that's kind of a great outcome. Just there's more awareness around this kind of stuff. And if that's the direction we're moving, that is not a bad thing. We do want to encourage accessibility and, help out with that where we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, one of our apps, Meteor Mega Menu, one of our merchants that was using it was going to get sued. I don't know the details of it.
Yeah, there was some stuff that already existed with Meteor, but this merchant reached out and was like, hey, here's this list of things that came up in this lawsuit, and we were able to just address those things, some like keyboard navigation, some screen readers. I don't remember all the specific items that were listed there, but there were just a couple things that were like, hey, this doesn't meet this certain standard. What can we do about this? And we were able to luckily jump in and help out. And, I don't know what came with all the legal stuff from this merchant, but we were able to speak with the merchant directly, and they at least were very pleased with what we came back to them with. So
just take a step back. This is an app company developing apps on Shopify, pausing a bunch of our development to focus on one specific merchant issue to make all of our menus, the entire app, all of our menus, more accessible for everyone. Like Brett was saying, accessibility, the visibility of it is proving fruitful in that people are talking about it and changes are being made. And this is a great example of that. Circling, I want to tie that to...
I think that was a great thing. I just want to highlight what you said. There's we didn't go in and change this specific merchant's menus and oh, hey, we're going to make a change on your site to help you get through this lawsuit. This surfaced some details that we were able to make changes throughout the entire app, and this change went out to every single user of the app, so now it's better for everyone.
It's so good. That's exactly what Brett's saying is that this turning over that stone is actually really productive and helpful to more than just a single merchant. I love that. I want to couple all of that with the topic that we've talked about for a while, which is vibe-coded apps. It was a full break, stop, pivot, let's get this issue fixed for the team. That's something that you might not get if someone's just trying to make a quick buck and you're downloading these things on your site and using them. So that's just a cautionary tale, and also it's kind of a humble brag for our team and teams like ours that are working really hard to provide the best, most secure, most accessible products on Shopify's App Store. So, little plug for us. Brett Shelley, your time is precious. I'm going to give you... No! Hey, Brett, come back! I want to give you a Shopify-related question of the week. If you had one Shopify-related wish, this might break your brain, what would it be?
Like a new feature or fix or something on Shopify?
If that's where your brain went,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, if that's where your brain went, sure.
So the first thing that I thought of, our customer fields app is historically been very big for custom registration. You're collecting custom data, you're requiring approval, you're doing some sort of custom registration flow when new users are signing up for your website. If you haven't heard, Shopify has launched this big new, we call it new customer accounts feature, and they're deprecating legacy customer accounts, and it's completely flipped customer registration on its head. Not only has it kind of changed things around, it has severely limited the customization for registration and login flows and just a lot of stuff around customer accounts. So I think my biggest wish to try to put this concisely would be better customization around registration in the new customer account system, because right now it's just like anyone can go on a Shopify site and type in your email, wait like 3 seconds, up to 2 minutes maybe, to get the emailed code and type that in, and you're registered.
They're registered.
You know, there's no typing in, like you're not even collecting a name. It's kind of crazy. So obviously there's some workarounds and, you know, other ways to do that and get around it, and we're, you know, doing the best with the tools we got. But that's definitely the biggest thing for us here at Helium that we're dealing with every single day right now.
Didn't the guy who was in charge of that, didn't he like resign or something?
Our friend Patrick Milligan.
Hi, Patrick.
He was the product manager, I believe, for customer accounts at Shopify. So he was really deep into all that. We've had some great discussions with him. He has moved on from Shopify to do something new. I don't really know what that means at this point.
We don't know what that is.
Sounds like he's building something new, so I'm excited to see whatever that is. But our friend over there, our main guy that we've been talking to, has moved on. So we've got some other contacts, but hopefully some of them see this and
Hi, contacts.
Build us something.
We're on your team. We're with you. Help us make Shopify better for everyone. Okay, that's all the time we have. Brett Shelley, thank you so much, man. It's nice to have you back in the booth. Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.